Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Hi everyone, I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about the top 10 most common tourist vocabulary. Let's begin. Ticket, 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 ticket. For example, you can hear Je vais vérifier votre ticket, monsieur. I am going to check your ticket, sir. So this happens a lot when you're in a train. Somebody's going to come up to you and ask for your ticket. Touriste, tourist, touriste, tourist. Les touristes français sont bruyants. French tourists are noisy. I don't know why you're saying that. Not true. Itinéraire, itinerary. Itinéraire, itinerary. Je dois planifier mon itinéraire. I need to plan my itinerary. Yeah, I love to do that myself. Like, I spend maybe 2 months before of my time to look for stuff. Guide touristique, guidebook. Guide touristique, guidebook. C'est recommandé dans le guide touristique. It is recommended in the guidebook. Bus touristique, tour bus. Bus touristique, tour bus. Ce bus touristique est plein à craquer. This tour bus is packed. When I visit new cities, I usually use tour buses, like when I went to Chicago, for example. That's pretty cool. You can see like sightseeing and stuff like that. Temple, temple. Temple, temple. Il y a de très beaux temples au Japon. There are beautiful temples in Japan. I have never been, so I cannot confirm about that, but yeah, maybe. Mosquée, mosque. Mosquée, mosque. Il y a une mosquée très célèbre à Istanbul. There is a very famous mosque in Istanbul. Église, church. Église, church. Cette famille va à l'église tous les dimanches. This family goes to church every Sunday. Yes, that is really important. Do it. Cascade, waterfall. Cascade, waterfall. Il a pris une jolie cascade en photo. He took a picture of a beautiful waterfall. Yeah, I would love to go to the Niagara Falls.
Niagara.
Oh my gosh! Okay, so put it again. How do you say?
Niagara.
Niagara?
Yeah.
Niagara? But this really? Visiter. To tour. Visiter. To tour. Ma famille va visiter Rome l'année prochaine. My family will visit Rome next year. I haven't been to Rome, but I have been to Milano and Venezia. Beautiful. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. Which phrase did you like the most? Leave us a comment letting us know. Hi everyone! I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about 10 ways to motivate yourself when learning French. Let's begin. Je m'imagine qu'un jour j'irai visiter ou habiter en France. I imagine that one day I will visit or live in France. France has many beautiful cities with nice things to see and good food. Whether it's just for sightseeing or living, it's really worth it. J'étudie également d'autres aspects de la langue, ce qui rend l'apprentissage du français plus enrichissant. I also study other aspects of the culture, which makes it more rewarding to study French. It's always interesting to compare your own culture to others, to understand why things are the way they are. By doing research, you can avoid certain culture shocks while traveling. J'aime trouver des mots drôles en apprenant le français. I like to find funny words in French. It's easier to remember words when you associate them with something. Je deviens ami avec des personnes qui parlent le français. I make friends with people who speak French. It's really helpful to talk to native speakers, especially those who don't understand your mother tongue, as it forces you to speak. It's a very good way to improve your speaking skills. Je regarde les vidéos YouTube de personnes ayant appris le français avec succès. I watch YouTube videos from other people who have successfully learned French. It's always good to get some advice from other people who have been there. Since everybody is different, you might find some things easier and other things harder than they do. J'aime utiliser le français pour passer des commandes dans des restaurants français. I enjoy using French to order at French restaurants. If the waiters and waitresses are native speakers, they might be impressed, and it's a good way to practice ordering food because you will need it if you go to France. Je regarde des films et séries françaises et suis content ou contente quand je peux apprendre un mot ou une phrase. I watch French movies and TV shows and enjoy the feeling I get when I can understand a word or a sentence. Watching movies and TV shows is good for hearing native French, things you don't learn at school and common expressions. If you enjoy watching French shows and movies, you won't feel like it's studying. It will just be fun. Being motivated is the best way to learn. J'ai changé la langue de mon téléphone portable, je l'utilise en français maintenant. I changed the language on my cell phone. I use it in French now. It helps you learn some useful vocabulary from everyday life. Je lis des livres pour enfants en français. I read books for children in French. Children's books have a lot of difficult French words, so it's a good way to learn many new words. J'écris ma liste de courses en français. I write my shopping list in French. This makes both studying French and shopping fun. Je suis des recettes françaises quand je cuisine. Okay, that's all about 10 ways to motivate yourself when learning French.
Tu viens au centre Georges Pompidou ?
Le centre Georges Pompidou? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
C'est un musée d'art moderne.
Et Georges Pompidou? Qui c'est?
Oh là là, c'est un président français. Vous êtes étudiant ?
Pardon? Ah oui.
Vous êtes étudiant à l'université ?
Oui. Et vous, qu'est-ce que vous faites?
Je suis comédienne.
Du cinéma?
Non, de théâtre. Je vous...
Chut! Regarde le film.
Moi, Jeanne. Toi, Tarzan.
Hein?
Moi, Jeanne. Toi, Tarzan. Tu comprends le français?
Pardon? Je ne comprends pas.
Tu comprends le français?
Lentement, s'il te plaît.
Tu comprends le français?
Ah oui, un peu.
Tu habites à Paris ?
Oui, j'habite à Belleville. Et toi?
Non, je n'habite pas à Paris.
Tu habites où?
À Toulouse.
D'où tu es?
Moi, je suis de Klein-Frankenheim.
Klein Frankenstein? Tu es allemand?
C'est Klein-Frankenheim. Non, je suis français.
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I express doubt or uncertainty? In English, we usually use modal verbs to express doubt or uncertainty, like might or would. French, however, doesn't have modal verbs. You have to use completely different constructions. Let's start with might, as in I might go to the party. The easiest way to do this is to simply add the adverb peut-être, meaning maybe. So you would get je vais peut-être à la fête. Another way to say might or may is to use il se peut que plus the subjunctive. For example, il se peut que la voiture soit en panne, meaning it is possible that the car is broken down, or the car might be broken down. But be careful, if you want to say something might have happened in the past, you have to use past subjunctive. So, for example, il se peut que je l'ai lu. This means I might have read it, or it's possible that I've read it. Let's move on to could and take the sentence I could eat a whale. In this case, you're speaking about something you could do in the future. So you use the conditional of the verb can, which is pouvoir. And you get je pourrais manger une baleine. But let's say you want to talk about something you could have done in the past. In this case, you would use pouvoir in the past perfect. For example, j'aurais pu manger une baleine, meaning I could have eaten a whale. Now, let's look at would. You probably already know this form in the present tense. For example, je voudrais le croque-monsieur. I would like the croque-monsieur. This is the conditional present. You may also remember it from a previous lesson about if statements. For example, on partirait si vous étiez prêt, meaning we would leave if you were ready. This is case 2, an unlikely situation that could come true if something else happened first. If you want to say that you would have in the past, then just conjugate the verb in the conditional perfect. For example, j'aurais voulu un croque-monsieur, meaning I would have liked a croque-monsieur. Finally, let's talk about should. Should is conjugated as the conditional of the verb devoir, meaning to have to or must. Then you add the infinitive of the verb that you should have done. For example, je devrais manger, meaning I should eat. Or, on devrait partir, meaning we should leave. This is a very helpful construction. So make sure to memorize the conditional present tense of devoir. If you want to talk about something you should have done, conjugate devoir in the conditional perfect. I should have eaten would be j'aurais dû manger. We should have left would be on aurait dû partir. You should have memorized it would be vous auriez dû le mémoriser. And that's it. I hope that helped. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I try to answer them. À bientôt. See you soon.
Welcome to Fun and Easy French by FrenchPod101.com. Do you know that there are gestures you probably do all of the time on every occasion, but are considered rude and offensive in France? Salut, je suis Laurine. Hi everyone, I'm Laurine. In this lesson, you learn all about French body gesture. Sometimes, gestures help us understand people and express ourselves better than the words we speak. If you want to meet new friends, be comfortable around French people, and communicate without being offensive or rude, learning the specifics of French body language and gestures is definitely something that will benefit you. In this video, you'll learn 1. Greeting gestures 2. Positive gestures 3. Negative gestures 4. Neutral gestures 5. The reason why the French are so rude, and 6. How FrenchPod 101 can help you. Let's start with verbal greetings and their gestures. There are different body gestures when greeting someone in France. Let's start with bonjour, hello, bonjour, bonjour. You can say this while raising your hands and waving your hands from side to side with a swaying motion. It's used in informal situations to greet or say goodbye when you don't feel like doing handshakes or kisses or you're out of arm reach of the people you know. It's a very common hand gesture used by the French. Another way to greet someone is by saying bienvenue, welcome, bienvenue, bienvenue. You can do this at a casual event by opening up your arms and spreading them with a smile. For formal occasions, open only one arm with a smile. This is how you greet your friends or peers in a warm and enthusiastic way. You can also greet your French friend through la bise, which means the kiss. La bise. La bise. Just lean forward and slightly brush cheeks with the other person while mimicking a kiss with the sound and lips gesture. Then switch cheeks and repeat. If you want se serrer la main, which means to shake hands, you can do so by reaching towards someone's hand and doing 1 or 2 up and down movements while looking at the person you're greeting straight in the eye. Se serrer la main. Se serrer la main. Shaking hands is common among friends, colleagues, or strangers in France. Next is positive gestures. Let's learn about French expressions and gestures that tend to have positive connotation. You'll surely find them useful next time you visit in France. First is oui. Yes, excellent. Oui. Oui. You can add this by taking a fist and extending your thumbs upward. A thumbs up gesture in France is an all-time classic. Although, if you're from the UK and US, be careful when you're saying OK, where you join your index and thumbs to make a circle. In several European countries, including France, it's a negative meaning, zero, or worthless. Another positive gesture commonly used in France is related to the expression ça va être génial. It's gonna be great. Ça va être génial. Ça va être génial. You just have to rub your palms together when doing this. But you're probably wondering what makes it a positive gesture when it can mean that you're cold. Depending on the context, rubbing your palms together usually convey that you're exciting or expecting something amazing. For example, you do this gesture when you're expecting to make good morning or before eating gorgeous-looking meal. Délicieux is also type of positive gesture in France. It means delicious. Délicieux. Délicieux. It can be done by kissing the joint tips of your finger when joyfully spreading them outward. This gesture is also known as the Italian chef kiss. You can use it when your French host is serving you a delicious, authentic French meal. Next is negative gestures. There are also negative gestures in French or actions that are considered to be rude. Let's get into them right away. The first negative gesture is related to bof, which means something like I don't care, I don't know, I'm not sure. Bof. Bof. It's done by spreading your arms open with palms up, then raising and lowering your shoulders. This infamous Gaelic shrug has many different meanings, so it's not the easiest one to pick up. You can use it when you're feeling indifferent, doubtful, or indecisive, but it can express a wide range of messages. It's not my fault, there is nothing I can do, don't ask me, and more. You can also use bof if you don't want to commit to a straight answer. For example, je t'offre un verre? Can I offer you a drink? Je t'offre un verre? Je t'offre un verre? You can answer with bof. C'est pas mon problème. Not my problem. Not my fault. C'est pas mon problème. C'est pas mon problème. This is another negative gesture that you might want to avoid doing. In this gesture, people raise their hands slightly over their shoulder, palms toward the other person, with their head and shoulder defensively held back. It It's a bit similar to the buff shrug, but is perceived as a stronger version where instead of being indifferent or indecisive, you just don't want anything to do with whatever you're asked for. Quelle barbe! What a drag! Boring! Or literally, what a beard! Quelle barbe! Quelle barbe! This is also a negative gesture in France. It's done by stroking your cheek a few times with the back of your fingers like you're caressing your beard. This negative gesture comes from old Parisian slang and is only one of many beard-related French idioms. You use this when you feel bored or are annoyed with the people around you, but you're in a situation where you're not allowed to curse. For example, you are assigned to do a tedious task at work. You can turn to your coworkers and stroke your imaginary beard. Another example of a negative gesture is mon œil, meaning I don't believe you, I highly doubt that. Mon œil, mon œil. It's done by using your index finger and pulling down the bottom lid of one eye. This is the French version of the American my foot, to playfully express your disbelief or accuse someone of lying. This is a childish gesture though, so it's not really a good gesture for serious arguments or business negotiations. If you're feeling fed up or have had enough of something really terrible, you may use j'en ai ras-le-bol, which means I'm fed up, I've had enough. J'en ai ras-le-bol. J'en ai ras-le-bol. When translated literally, it just means my bowl is full. But in a French slang, it has a unique meaning. When doing it, you can just swipe your hand up horizontally over your head. Combined with an eloquent frown, you can use it to express your annoyance when trouble is spinning way up over your head. Next is neutral gestures. Now, it's time to learn some neutral gestures commonly used in France. They will help you respond appropriately or express yourself without getting misinterpreted. First on the list is shh, shh, keep quiet, shh, shh. This is done by simply extending your index finger and placing it vertically across your mouth. Shh. You probably already know what this gesture means, but since it can take different forms in some countries, it's worth mentioning. Viens, come here. Viens, viens is a neutral expression done by extending up your index finger, palm up, and folding it inward. It can also be done with all finger at once. Because this isn't as obvious as it may seem, it should be performed properly. For example, if you use the Japanese palm down version, in France, it can be interpreted as rude and disrespectful. Another neutral gesture you may want to practice is comme ci, comme ça. So, more or less. Comme ci, comme ça. Comme ci, comme ça. Just place your hand in front of you, palm down, and tip it from left to right several times. This convenient gesture can be used in a formal or casual situation. For example, if you're having a bad day and someone asks how you're going, you can use this gesture to respond. Another French gesture that can express a wide variety of emotion ranging from surprise to annoyance, distress, or disappointment is oh la la, meaning oh no, wow. Oh la la, oh la la. You can do it by raising your hand in front of your chest and shaking it loosely as if trying to revive your numb fingers. You can also use it when you're impressed or if someone is in trouble. One funny gesture used to let people know that you're drunk or to raise their awareness of the intoxication of third party is avoir un coup dans le nez. To be drunk. Avoir un coup dans le nez. Avoir un coup dans le nez. Literally, it means to have a drink in the nose. It's done by placing a loose fist around the tip of your nose and rotate it as if trying to unscrew it. Another example of a neutral gesture is c'est pas donné. It's expensive. C'est pas donné. C'est pas donné. Literally, it means it's not given. But this informal gesture works in many situations where lots of money is involved. It's most commonly used for something expensive, but can also mean that something is lucrative. For example, when reading the menu of a pricey restaurant, you could use this gesture toward your friends to tell them you can't afford it, and if you all could find a cheaper restaurant. Just rub your thumbs against the tips of your index and middle finger when doing this gesture. The last example of a neutral gesture is il est fou, elle est cinglée. He's crazy, she's nuts. Il est fou, elle est cinglée. Il est fou, elle est cinglée. It's done by tapping the side of your head with the tip of your index finger. It's a bit similar to the American crazy gesture that will also be understood in France. Obviously, this is a very informal gesture and could be offensive to strangers, so only use it around your friends for humor. Next is why the French are so rude. Don't believe the rumor. French people aren't rude, but still we can't help but wonder, why do some people assume this? France remains one of the top tourism destinations in the world, so where did the rude assumption come from? Allow us to share two different explanations for this. The first reason is body language and perception. Body language is a big deal, more than you can imagine, both around the world and in French culture. Your posture and attitude speak volumes, and people form an opinion right away based on your gestures. For example, French people are more controlled than Americans in terms of body language. Their shoulder and arms stay close to the body, their chests straight in overall rigidity. The French look at it as an expression of restraint, but some call it being tense or stiff, which contributes to this impression of the French being cold and unwelcoming. Another reason is the intonation and gestures. Whatever space French people are taking when they move, they compensate for it when they talk. They use physical gestures to express a wide range of emotions without words, mostly using their face and hands, and it's easy to get the wrong impression if you don't know the language nor the gestures. Since the natural French intonation is also widely guilty of this impression, it makes the French sound angry, using sharp or abusive sounding tones even though they were only having a friendly debate over lunch. Now on to Part 5. How can FrenchPod 101 help you? By teaching you French and getting you to speak from your very first lesson. FrenchPod 101 lesson build you up from your first words to mastering entire conversations. And you get lessons for all levels from absolute beginner to advanced. Enough to take you from knowing zero to speaking fluently. You can also learn with your own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. They'll correct your French, tell you how to improve your speaking, writing, and grammar, and even help you practice for job interviews in French. In this lesson, you learned different types of positive, negative, and neutral gestures, as well as how French people differ from other cultures or countries in terms of body language and intonations. So, if you want to speak French and learn in the fastest, easiest, and most fun way, go to FrenchPod101.com and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Get our complete learning program with real lessons by real teachers. That's it for today. À la prochaine. See you next time.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Hi everyone, I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about the 5 most popular French bands. A really great way to learn any language is through its music. Here are a few famous French bands to check out. Let's begin. The first band is Louise Attaque. Louise Attaque. It really means Louise attacks and refers to the French anarchist woman Louise Michel, who was active in the 19th century. Louise Attaque est un groupe de pop-rock français formé en 1994. Louise Attaque is a pop-rock band founded in 1994. Yeah, I remember my sister listening to them. I don't think I really like them actually. Noir Désir. Noir Désir. One of their best sellers is Le Vent nous portera. You should definitely check it out if you haven't yet. Le Vent nous portera. Don't remember. Noir Désir est un groupe de rock de Bordeaux. Noir Désir is a rock band from Bordeaux. Daft Punk. Daft Punk. This group has played an important role in the electronic music history and is known all around the world. Daft Punk est un groupe de musique électronique. Daft Punk is an electronic music band. Yeah, I love Daft Punk. Another great band is Gojira. Gojira. When they formed their band in 1996, the name was Godzilla. They changed it to Gojira in 2001. Gojira est un groupe de métal extrême. Gojira is a heavy metal band. And if you like beats, you love IAM. Oh my gosh, IAM. IAM. IAM is a very famous French hip-hop band from Marseille, formed in 1989. One of their best sellers is Petit Frère. IAM est un groupe de rap. IAM is a rap band. I love IAM. Petit Frère, I don't remember the song, sorry, but you should listen to it. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. Did you already know these bands? Do you know any other French bands? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you next time. À bientôt! M. Pokora. Oh my gosh, this guy is so handsome and I love his music. I went to his concert a long time ago. You gotta check him out. He's so handsome, especially if you're a girl. Hi everyone, I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about the 5 most popular sports in France. Let's begin. The first sport is tennis. 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 In France, tennis used to be a high-class sport, but is now becoming more and more popular among everyone. Mon colocataire est professeur de tennis. My roommate is a tennis instructor. Yeah, remember watching Juan Carlos Ferrero? Oh my gosh, handsome man. The next is natation, swimming. Natation, swimming. Swimming is very popular in France. Nowadays, one of the most famous French swimmers is Jérémy Stravius. Ma sœur fait de la natation 2 fois par semaine. My sister goes to swimming twice a week. Yeah, that's really good if you want to lose weight. and tone at the same time. Rugby, 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 rugby. Rugby is especially popular among men in the southwestern part of France, in cities such as Toulouse or Biarritz. Vous savez jouer au rugby? Do you know how to play rugby? I don't. But it seems like this is kind of the same as you guys. You have, how you call that? The thing?
American football?
American football, exactly.
They're pretty different.
Really? I mean, this is the same ball, but you guys don't have that in America.
You do have it.
Oh, you have that as well. Oh, okay. Next up is football, soccer. Football, soccer. Soccer is definitely the most popular sport in France. Je n'aime pas le football. I don't like soccer. Yeah, France were the world champion in 1998, from what I recall. And I cried, I remember. Yeah, stupid. And then there is cyclisme, cycling. Cyclisme, cycling. This is very famous also because of the Tour de France, which takes place once a year and is one of the most followed cycling races in the world. I've never watched it, this is so boring. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. Which sports do you like the most? Let us know by leaving a comment below. And we'll see you next time. À bientôt! I had to play the handball, and I had to play the volleyball, and I had to run and all that stuff, and oh my gosh, I was so bad. Sorry, I'm not a sport person. Even though I look pretty fit, but no, that's not for me.
You are at a train station where you're attempting to buy an express ticket from a ticket machine. Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? The option on the bottom left is for an express ticket.
Billet pour train express.
You are at a train station where you've just bought an express ticket. Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in train car number 1 in the 8th row in seat C.
Voiture 1, rangée 8, place C.
You are at a train station where you're reading the train schedule for an express ticket that you've just bought. On which days are there no express trains running? On which days are there no express trains running? There are no express trains running on public holidays and the third Sunday of every month.
Jour férié, troisième dimanche du mois.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com. You are on a platform at a train station where you're waiting for your train. Suddenly, a message appears on the display. What does the message on the display mean? What does the message on the display mean? The display reads, "The next train will not stop."
Le prochain train ne s'arrêtera pas.
You are at a train station where you're looking for the best exit to catch a taxi. Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? You should take the east exit in order to get to the taxi rank.
Sortie Est.
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I form the future tenses and when should I use them? There are two future tenses in French, the futur proche and futur simple. Proche means near. When we use futur proche, we're talking about the near future, things that will happen soon. Conjugation is easy. We use the present tense of aller, to go, and then add the infinitive. So the verb nager, to swim, becomes je vais nager, meaning I'm going to swim. Tu vas nager, meaning you're going to swim. Il va nager, meaning he's going to swim, and so on. To make the future simple, we add the stem plus the ending. The verb stem for et and ir verbs is just the infinitive. So the verb stem for nager is nager. The verb stem for finir, to finish, is finir. For re verbs, we drop the i. So vendre becomes vendre. The endings are very similar to the present conjugation of avoir. They're always the same est, a, on, et, on. However, there are irregular stems which you will have to memorize. We go through the most important ones now, saying the verb, its stem, a sample conjugation, and its translation. Aller, ir, j'irai, I will go. Être, ser, tu seras, you will be. Avoir, aur, il aura, we will have. Pouvoir, pour, nous pourrons, we will be able to. Vouloir, voudre, vous voudrez, you will want to. Venir, viendre, elles viendront, they will come. Savoir, saur, je saurai, I will know. Faire, faire, tu feras, you will do or make. Envoyer, envers, elle enverra, she will send. Okay, so which one should you use? You'll use the futur proche for the near future and futur simple for things that are further in the future. If you are going to go swimming right after this lesson, use futur proche. Je vais nager. If you will swim in the ocean on your vacation in Barcelona, use futur simple. Je nagerai dans la mer. Futur simple is also used in some forms, like if statements. But we will cover those in later lessons, so don't worry about it now. If you use mostly futur proche when speaking, you'll be just fine. Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below, and I try to answer them. À bientôt. See you soon.
Welcome to Fun and Easy French by FrenchPod101.com. Do you know that there are different forms of greeting someone that you just met in French? Salut, je suis Laurine. Hi everyone, I'm Laurine. In this lesson, you learn all about how to introduce yourself in French. Learning how to introduce yourself in French is very important when making new French friends, especially if you're looking into leaving a great first impression with them. It's also not necessary for you to be fluent in French when introducing yourself in any situation. You only need to learn the right tips and tricks to make sure people don't forget about you once they get to know you. In this video, you learn first, how to get started when introducing yourself, second, how to learn about each other, then some specific introduction lines, and finally, how to leave an impression and how FrenchPod 101 can help you. Let's start with how to get started. Do you want to make friends with the people in France and create a long-lasting first impression? Then, you need to know what formal greetings in French are. There is a French etiquette that you need to follow when greeting someone in French. Here's the first useful word. Bonjour, hello, or good day. Bonjour. Bonjour is used from morning to sundown. It's not too formal, nor too relaxed. Another way to start a conversation is by greeting someone with bonsoir, good evening. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, it's the nighttime version of bonjour and can be used professionally and with your friends. You may also greet by saying salut, hi, salut, salut. It's the casual version of bonjour that you can use at any time of the day. There are two forms of you in French. Vous, vous, vous for formal encounters or when meeting someone for the first time, and tu, tu, tu for more casual interaction or when meeting friends and acquaintances. Another formal greeting in French is shaking someone's hand or using la bise, the kiss. La bise. What are the differences? Let me explain. La bise, or the typical French custom of kissing on the cheeks, can be used when greeting someone of the opposite sex in a casual way, for example, after using salut and tu. But if you're not sure what to do, go for a handshake instead. Next is useful expressions to learn about each other. Now, let's learn about the classic questions and answers that usually come up when you meet someone. Others will not only get to know you, but you'll be able to get to know them as well. But before we begin, you first need to remember that questions have two forms: formal and casual. Answers, on the other hand, mostly have one form only. Let's start with the question, what's your name? Giving your name or asking someone's name in French uses the verb s'appeler. 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 The casual form of what's your name is comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Or
Tu t'appelles comment? Tu t'appelles comment? Tu t'appelles comment? The formal form, on the other hand, is comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Here's an example of an answer. Je m'appelle Bob. My name is Bob. Je m'appelle Bob. Je m'appelle Bob. It literally means I call myself Bob. This is the most common way to state your name, and it works in both formal and casual situations. Now, it's your turn to ask the same question. You can casually say et toi and you, et toi, or formally say et vous and you, et vous, et vous. When you're being asked back in a casual situation, you can answer moi, c'est Bob. I'm Bob. Moi, c'est Bob. Moi, c'est Bob. Next, I'm going to teach you how to ask and answer back in French with the question, where are you from? The casual form of this question is like this. D'où tu viens? Where are you from? D'où tu viens? Other forms are tu viens d'où? Tu viens d'où? Or tu es d'où? Tu es d'où? Another example is de quel pays tu viens? From what country are you from? De quel pays tu viens? De quel pays tu viens? Or, tu es de quelle nationalité? What is your nationality? Tu es de quelle nationalité? Tu es de quelle nationalité? The formal way, on the other hand, is like this. D'où venez-vous? Where are you from? D'où venez-vous? D'où venez-vous? Or, de quel pays venez-vous? From what country are you from? De quel pays venez-vous? De quel pays venez-vous? Another example is quelle est votre nationalité? What is your nationality? Quelle est votre nationalité? Quelle est votre nationalité? If you're from another country, like China, you can answer with the Je viens de Chine. I'm coming from China. Je viens de Chine. Je viens de Chine. Or, je suis chinois. If you're male, je suis chinoise. If you're female, it means I am Chinese. Je suis chinois or je suis chinoise. If you feel like giving the city where you're currently living, you can say Je viens de Paris. I'm from Paris. Je viens de Paris. Je viens de Paris. Or, j'habite à Paris. I'm living in Paris. J'habite à Paris. J'habite à Paris. Next up, we're going to learn the casual and formal way of asking the question, what's your profession? And how to answer it in French. Don't worry, in France, it's very common to ask about other people's job in the early conversation. So, feel free to ask this question or answer back if you're being asked. The casual way of asking about someone's profession is like this. Tu fais quoi dans la vie? What are you doing in life? Tu fais quoi dans la vie? Tu fais quoi dans la vie? Or, tu fais quel métier? What is your job? Tu fais quel métier? Tu fais quel métier? In a formal setting, you can ask it like this. Quel travail faites-vous? What is your occupation? Quel travail faites-vous? Quel travail faites-vous? If you're being asked about your profession, you can answer in any of these ways. Je suis étudiante. I'm a student. Je suis étudiante. Je suis étudiante. Or, j'étudie la biologie. I'm studying biology. J'étudie la biologie. J'étudie la biologie. Another one is je travaille dans l'informatique. I'm working in IT. Je travaille dans l'informatique. Je travaille dans l'informatique. You can also answer with je suis dans la finance. I'm working in finance. Je suis dans la finance. Je suis dans la finance. Or, if you're a carpenter, you can say je suis charpentier. I'm a carpenter. Je suis charpentier. Je suis charpentier. By the way, the keywords here are travail or métier, which means occupation or profession. Travail or métier. During casual conversations, you can replace them with some slang expressions. For example, boulot, boulot, boulot. Or taf, taf, taf. Or job, job, job. When meeting someone for the first time, asking about their family isn't really too common. But just in case someone asks you, you might as well learn how to ask or answer it in French. Here are some examples in casual French. Tu es marié? Are you married? Tu es marié? Tu es marié? Tu as des enfants? Do you have kids? Tu as des enfants? Tu as des enfants? Tu as des frères et sœurs? Do you have brothers and sisters? Tu as des frères et sœurs? Tu as des frères et sœurs? In a formal setting, you can ask it this way. Vous êtes marié? Are you married? Vous êtes marié? Vous êtes marié? Vous avez des enfants? Do you have kids? Vous avez des enfants? Vous avez des enfants? Vous avez des frères et sœurs? Do you have brothers and sisters? Vous avez des frères et sœurs? Vous avez des frères et sœurs? Then, you may find yourself answering in any of these ways. Oui, je suis mariée. Yes, I'm married. Oui, je suis mariée. Oui, je suis mariée. Non, je suis célibataire. No, I'm single. Non, je suis célibataire. Non, je suis célibataire. Non, je suis divorcée. No, I'm divorced. Non, je suis divorcée. Non, je suis divorcée. J'ai 2 enfants. I have 2 kids. J'ai 2 enfants. J'ai 2 enfants. J'ai un petit frère et une grande sœur. I have a little brother and a big sister. J'ai un petit frère et une grande sœur. J'ai un petit frère et une grande sœur. French people are a bit more sensitive about asking someone else's age, especially for women. But if you meet a young girl or a woman who's comfortable about answering just about any questions, then you may ask about her age. The casual way of asking someone's age is Tu as quel âge? How old are you? Tu as quel âge? Tu as quel âge? Asking in a formal manner is Quel âge avez-vous? Quel âge avez-vous? Quel âge avez-vous? Then you can answer it with J'ai 30 ans. I'm 30 years old. J'ai 30 ans. J'ai 30 ans. Next question you may ask or might be asked of you is a question about your hobbies. The casual way of asking is C'est quoi tes hobbies? Or passe-temps? What are your hobbies? C'est quoi tes hobbies? Passe-temps? C'est quoi tes hobbies? Passe-temps? Or you can also ask Tu fais quoi de ton temps libre? What do you do with your free time? Tu fais quoi de ton temps libre? Tu fais quoi de ton temps libre? The formal way, on the other hand, is Quels sont vos hobbies? What are your hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Or, que faites-vous de votre temps libre? What do you do with your free time? Que faites-vous de votre temps libre? The formal way, on the other end, is Quels sont vos hobbies? What are your hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Or, que faites-vous de votre temps libre? What do you do with your free time? Que faites-vous de votre temps libre? Que faites-vous de votre temps libre? Here are some examples of answering this question in French. Je joue au tennis. I'm playing tennis. Je joue au tennis. Je joue au tennis. Je joue du piano. I'm playing piano. Je joue du piano. Je joue du piano. Je passe mes nuits sur HBO. I spend my nights on HBO. Je passe mes nuits sur HBO. Je passe mes nuits sur HBO. J'écris un journal de voyage. I'm writing a travel diary. J'écris un journal de voyage. J'écris un journal de voyage. Next, let's see some specific introduction lines. Now that you know the most common questions and answers in French, let's now start learning how to introduce yourself with useful French phrases in certain situations. When traveling, you may find yourself conversing with friendly locals. The conversation could go this way. Tu voyages depuis longtemps? You're being asked. Have you been traveling for a long time? Tu voyages depuis longtemps? Tu voyages depuis longtemps? Then, you can answer with Je voyage depuis 2 mois. I have been traveling for 2 months. Je voyage depuis 2 mois. Je voyage depuis 2 mois. If you are asked, tu as visité quel autre pays? What other countries did you visit? Tu as visité quel autre pays? Tu as visité quel autre pays? You can answer with Je suis allé en Espagne et en Italie. I have been to Spain and Italy. Je suis allé en Espagne et en Italie. Je suis allé en Espagne et en Italie. But what about when you're meeting with your coworkers? You may be asked, Tu travailles dans quel service? Which means, in which division are you working? Tu travailles dans quel service? Tu travailles dans quel service? Then, you can answer with Je travaille aux ressources humaines. I'm working with HR. Je travaille aux ressources humaines. Je travaille aux ressources humaines. Another question could be Tu bosses sur quoi en ce moment? What are you working on right now? Tu bosses sur quoi en ce moment? Tu bosses sur quoi en ce moment? You may answer it with Je viens de commencer un nouveau projet. I have just started working on a new project. Je viens de commencer un nouveau projet. Je viens de commencer un nouveau projet. When you're in a casual social event, someone might ask you, Tu fais quoi demain soir? What are you doing tomorrow night? Tu fais quoi demain soir? Tu fais quoi demain soir? You may answer with Je vais au cinéma avec un pote. I'm going to a movie with a pal. Je vais au cinéma avec un pote. Je vais au cinéma avec un pote. Another question you may come across is Tu as un copain? Or Tu as une copine? Do you have a boyfriend, girlfriend? Tu as un copain? Tu as une copine? Tu as un copain? Or Tu as une copine? You may answer with Non, on a rompu il y a 2 semaines. No, we broke up 2 weeks ago. Non, on a rompu il y a 2 semaines. Non, on a rompu il y a 2 semaines. Another situation you might get into while in France is participating in a family meeting. So, if a family member asks you, Vous vous êtes rencontrés comment? Meaning, how did you meet? Vous vous êtes rencontrés comment? Vous vous êtes rencontrés comment? You can answer it with J'ai rencontré Julie à l'université. I met Julie at the university. J'ai rencontré Julie à l'université. J'ai rencontré Julie à l'université. Another question that you might be asked of you is Comment tu connais Bastien? How do you know Bastien? Comment tu connais Bastien? Comment tu connais Bastien? You may answer it with On travaille ensemble. We work together. On travaille ensemble. On travaille ensemble. Next is how to leave an impression. We would like to share with you a couple of tips that you can use if you want to leave a great impression when making new friends. The first tip is to never make it all about yourself. When someone asks something about you, there's really no need to tell that person everything about you. It will make you more interesting and appealing if you let that person find out what else you can offer or can do. Talk less about yourself. Ask them questions instead. Learn more about their culture or find what they like to do. Focus on getting to know them more. It will make them feel you are interested in them and they will soon feel comfortable to be around you. Another thing you may want to do if you want to leave a great impression is showing your interest by dropping a word of appreciation once you hear that person's name. This can take different forms. Here are some examples. Enchanté, which means delighted. Enchanté, enchanté. Ravi de vous rencontrer, or heureux, or heureuse de vous rencontrer. Happy to meet you. Ravi de vous rencontrer, or heureux, or heureuse de vous rencontrer. Ravi de vous rencontrer, or heureux, or heureuse de vous rencontrer. C'est un plaisir de vous rencontrer. It's a pleasure to meet you. C'est un plaisir de vous rencontrer. C'est un plaisir de vous rencontrer. You can cut it down to un plaisir de vous rencontrer. Pleased to meet you. Un plaisir de vous rencontrer. Un plaisir de vous rencontrer. Or even un plaisir. A pleasure. Un plaisir. Un plaisir. Other forms to show your interests when you're greeting in French are Je m'appelle Julie. My name is Julie. Je m'appelle Julie. Je m'appelle Julie. You can then say C'est un très joli prénom. It's a really pretty name. C'est un très joli prénom. C'est un très joli prénom. Another example is je suis photographe. I'm a photographer. Je suis photographe. Je suis photographe. You can respond with génial. Quel genre de photo? Great. What kind of photos? Génial. Quel genre de photo? Génial. Quel genre de photo? And j'ai 40 ans. I'm 40 years old. J'ai 40 ans. J'ai 40 ans. You may then say, vraiment? Tu fais beaucoup plus jeune. Really? You look so much younger. Vraiment? Tu fais beaucoup plus jeune. Vraiment? Tu fais beaucoup plus jeune. The last tip we want to share with you is for you to start a conversation in French. You're likely to make a good first impression if you at least try to converse in French. It doesn't matter if your French isn't polished. They will appreciate you for trying. Saying bonjour, hello, bonjour, bonjour. Or, je ne parle pas français. I don't speak French. Je ne parle pas français. Je ne parle pas français is better than not being able to speak any French words at all. Now on to part 5. How can FrenchPod 101 help you? By teaching you French and getting you to speak from your very first lesson. FrenchPod 101's lessons build you up from your first words to mastering entire conversations. And you get lessons for all levels, from absolute beginner to advanced. Enough to take you from knowing zero to speak fluently. You can also learn with your own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. They'll correct your French, tell you how to improve your speaking, writing, and grammar, and even help you practice for job interviews in French. In this lesson, you learned how to greet in French in casual and formal manner, the most common types of question and answers, example of introduction lines, and how to leave a good first impression when meeting a French person for the first time.
Top 10 must-know phrases for the restaurant. Let's begin. Oh my gosh, again food, I'm so hungry! Une table pour 3, s'il vous plaît. Une table pour 3, s'il vous plaît. A table for 3, please. Actually, I used that a lot when I was in Italy. But it was a table pour 3, per favore. A table pour 3, per favore. Anyways, you can use this phrase when making a reservation. You can change the number depending on how many people are with you. For example, to reserve a table for 2, you can say une table pour 2, s'il vous plaît. Une table pour 2, s'il vous plaît. Pour une table pour 1, for a table just for 1, you will say une table pour 1. Le menu, s'il vous plaît. Le menu, s'il vous plaît. The menu, please. Use this when you can see the menu on the table or the waiter forgot to bring one. This happens a lot. J'aimerais ceci, s'il vous plaît. J'aimerais ceci, s'il vous plaît. I'd like this dish, please. You can say this while indicating on the menu. It may come in handy if you're not sure how to pronounce a dish name. Yeah, I use that a lot myself, especially for Japanese food. Sans oignon, s'il vous plaît. Sans oignon, s'il vous plaît. Without onions, please. If you don't like something, you should memorize this. You can refer to anything else by substituting oignon with a different noun. For example, if you want to order a beverage without ice, you can say sans glaçons, s'il vous plaît. Sans glaçons, s'il vous plaît. Sans tomate, without tomatoes. Sans tomate. Pourriez-vous m'apporter du sel? Pourriez-vous m'apporter du sel? Can you please bring me the salt? Yeah, American people love salt. I don't know why, because I don't. You can use this phrase to ask for seasonings such as salt or pepper or a missing tableware. Excusez-moi. Excusez-moi. Excuse me. Use this to call the waiter's attention. Excusez-moi. While trying to make eye contact. Sometimes they might ignore you, unfortunately. Où sont les toilettes? Où sont les toilettes? Where is the bathroom? This may turn useful in any situation, not only when you are at a restaurant. For example, if you are in the street and ask, où puis-je utiliser les toilettes? Where can I use restrooms or bathroom? Qu'est-ce que ce plat contient? Qu'est-ce que ce plat contient? What does this dish have in it? If you have allergies, you have to learn this question to make sure you can fully enjoy your meal. Yes, sometimes at restaurants they ask you if you have any allergies, but sometimes they don't, so please make sure to ask. Est-ce que c'est possible de payer séparément? Est-ce que c'est possible de payer séparément? Is it possible to pay separately? You can ask this question when paying the bill and if you want to split the amount. For example, when you go out with your friends, you can ask for a separate bill, right? Donc, l'addition séparée? L'addition, s'il vous plaît. L'addition, s'il vous plaît. The bill, please. When you are ready to leave the restaurant, use this phrase to ask for the bill. It's common to pay at the table, and though you are not expected to give a tip, it is always a kind gesture to leave some loose change. Yeah, in America, you are expected to do so. In France, not really. But you can give like 1 or 2 euros, you know?
10 phrases to survive at the station, because it's pretty hard in there. It's the jungle. J'aimerais aller à. I'd like to go to. J'aimerais aller à. I would like to go to. Then put the name of the place. Whether it's a city, if you're taking the train, or if it's a metro, you might want to know a more precise location. So, if you can find someone at the ticket counter, just ask, J'aimerais aller à, and then they will give you the directions. Est-ce la bonne plateforme pour? Is it the right platform for? Est-ce la bonne plateforme pour? Is it the right platform for? Place. So if the station is really big, you will have a lot of platforms. And sometimes it might get confusing, so you might want to ask if you're on the right place. And if it's a metro, for example, or a tramway, they go both directions, so you want to be sure you are on the right side of the platform to get the right direction, or else you would go the other way, and it can get tricky. À quelle heure est le dernier train? What time is the last train? À quelle heure est le dernier train? What time is the last train? This question sounds so Japanese. If it's a big normal train, they may have trains all day and sometimes even night trains. And if you are talking about a metro or tramway train, then depending on the cities, sometimes they finish later, but around midnight is a good safe spot for the last train, so try to get them before midnight. Sometimes they have some after, but that's mostly in bigger cities, so you don't want to take that risk. Où puis-je changer pour? Where do I change for? Où puis-je changer pour? Where can I change for? Place. I didn't change at the proper spot and ended up 250 kilometers away from where I was supposed to be. Whoopsie. Be sure to check that. And be sure also to have enough time before trains to change. If you're going from a big train to a big train and going through a big train station, or even through a big city, sometimes they have many train stations, so you need enough time to go from one station to another. So be careful with that. Où est la gare? Where is the train station? Où est la gare? Where is the train station? Where is the train station? This is not a sentence to survive at the station, because you're not in the station, you're looking for it. Ask your local policeman. Train stations are usually indicated, so they should be easy to find, but if you don't know, just ask anyone, really. Où est-ce que je peux acheter un billet? Where can I buy a ticket? Où est-ce que je peux acheter un billet? Where can I buy a ticket? If you're going abroad from France, sometimes you will have to queue at the ticket counter to get your ticket. Usually people speak English. Où sont les distributeurs automatiques de billets? Where are the ticket machines? Où sont les distributeurs automatiques de billets? Where are the ticket machines? In the station, duh. They are a bit everywhere. Est-ce que ce bus va à? Does this bus go to? Est-ce que ce bus va à? Does this bus go to? Place? You can ask this to the driver of the bus, because sometimes, again, the map for all the bus routes can be pretty tricky to understand, and you cannot really be sure if you're on the right side of the road to take the right bus in the right direction. So you should ask your bus driver if you're not sure. Où est l'arrêt de bus? Where is the bus stop? Où est l'arrêt de bus? Where is the bus stop? Depending on the city, you will have many bus lines, so you want to find the right bus stop for the right bus line. So if you find a bus stop, it may not be your right line, so be sure to check that too. Le train a du retard. The train's running late. Le train a du retard. The train is running late. It is indeed. Mostly buses are late in France. Trains are okay-ish. They can depart on time. Don't expect them to be really precise. But still be on time just in case it leaves on time this one time. That was a lot of time. Timey time. In this video, you learned 20 of the most common words and phrases in French. Hi everybody, my name is Leah. Welcome to the 800 Core French Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in French. But there is a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you've learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at FrenchPod101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master French. Okay, let's get started. First is bonjour. Hello. Bonjour. Bonjour. Hello. Quand je rencontre une personne, je dis bonjour. When I meet someone, I say hello. Quand je rencontre une personne, je dis bonjour. Bon après-midi. Have a nice afternoon. Bon après-midi. Bon après-midi. Have a nice afternoon. Bon après-midi, mademoiselle. Have a nice afternoon, miss. Bon après-midi, mademoiselle. Bonsoir. Good evening. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Good evening. Bonsoir, bienvenue. Good evening, welcome. Bonsoir, bienvenue. Bonne nuit. Good night. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Good night. Bonne nuit, mon ami. Good night, my friend. Bonne nuit, mon ami. Enchanté de vous rencontrer. Nice to meet you. Enchanté de vous rencontrer. Enchanté de vous rencontrer. Nice to meet you. Enchanté de vous rencontrer, monsieur. Nice to meet you, sir. Enchanté de vous rencontrer, monsieur. Comment vas-tu? How are you? Comment vas-tu? Comment vas-tu? How are you? Ça fait longtemps. Comment vas-tu? It's been a long time. How are you? Ça fait longtemps. Comment vas-tu? Oui. Yes. Oui. Oui. Yes. Oui, s'il vous plaît. Yes, please. Oui, s'il vous plaît. Non. No. Non. 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 Non, merci. No, thanks. Non, merci. Merci. Thank you. Merci. Merci. Thank you. Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation. Thank you very much for the invitation. Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation. Je m'appelle. I'm. Je m'appelle. Je m'appelle. I'm. Je m'appelle John. I'm John. Je m'appelle John. Au revoir. Goodbye. Au revoir. Au revoir. Goodbye. Au revoir, à bientôt. Goodbye, see you soon. Au revoir, à bientôt. Mauvais. Bad. Mauvais. Mauvais. Bad. C'est un mauvais garçon. He is a bad boy. C'est un mauvais garçon. Bon. Good. Bon. Bon. Good. Les légumes sont bons pour vous. Vegetables are good for you. Les légumes sont bons pour vous. Belle. Beautiful. Belle. Belle. Beautiful. Très beau. Very beautiful. Très beau. Laid. Ugly. Laid. Laid. Ugly. Visage laid. Ugly face. Visage laid. Facile. Easy. Facile. Facile. Easy. Ce problème est facile. This problem is easy. Ce problème est facile. Difficile. Difficult. Difficile. Difficile. Difficult. Très difficile. Very difficult. Très difficile. Près de. Near. Près de. Près de. Near. Je vis près de l'université. I live near the university. Je vis Près de l'université. Loin. Far. Loin. Loin. Far. La gare est loin d'ici. The station is far from here. La gare est loin d'ici. Petit. Small. Petit. Petit. Small. Ce pull est trop petit. This sweater is too small. Ce pull est trop petit. Remember, the goal of this series is to build a vocabulary of the 800 most common words and phrases in French. If that sounds like a lot, don't worry, we can help you. Click the link in the description to access the full list. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources at FrenchPod101.com. See you next time! Au revoir!
Top 10 life events you should be able to talk about in French. Let's begin. Naissance. Naissance. Birth. Quel is an interrogative adjective used in question to mean which or that. It has to agree with the noun that it precedes. With a feminine singular noun, it becomes quel. For example, date de naissance is feminine. That's why you have to use quel. For example, you can say quelle est votre date de naissance, s'il vous plaît. This means could you give me your date of birth, please? Être diplômé. Être diplômé. This means graduate. Graduation is an important goal in many people's life. For example, you can say après avoir été diplômé, je voyagerai 1 an partout dans le monde, which means after I graduate, I will travel the world for 1 year. Avoir un travail. Avoir un travail. This means get a job. For example, you can say j'ai eu mon premier travail à 18 ans, which means I got my first job when I was 18. This sentence uses the past tense passé composé. The passé composé is a compound past tense that consists of 2 elements: the present tense of an auxiliary or helping verb and a past participle. Most verbs use the helping verb avoir. However, some use être. Se fiancer. Se fiancer. This means to get engaged. For example, you can say tu es fiancé, félicitations, which means are you engaged? Congratulations. Fiancé is an adjective which means engaged. If the subject is feminine, it's fiancé. The next event is mariage. Mariage. This means wedding. For example, il y a beaucoup de mariages en juin parce que certaines personnes pensent que c'est un mois porte-bonheur pour l'amour. This means there are a large number of weddings in June, as some think it's a lucky month for love. Parce que introduces a cause. It simply translates to English as because. Parce que can also start a sentence. The next event is acheter une maison. Acheter une maison. This means buy a house. For example, j'achèterais une maison si j'avais plus d'argent means I would buy a house if I had more money. This sentence uses the conditional tense with acheter. The conditional is used to express what will happen given certain events or actions. Anniversaire de mariage. Anniversaire de mariage. This means anniversary. For example, pour un 25e anniversaire de mariage, on offre généralement de l'argent. Means silver is the traditional gift for the 25th wedding anniversary. In France, as well as in some other countries, the names of some anniversaries provide guidance for appropriate or traditional gifts for the spouses to give each other. For example, an 8-year anniversary is noces de coquelicot, poppy wedding. Prendre sa retraite. Prendre sa retraite. Retire. You can say mon grand-père a pris sa retraite à l'âge de 60 ans, which means my grandfather retired when he was 60. The retirement age is around 65 in France. It also depends on how many years you've been working. voyager. Voyager. Travel. For example, you can say je rêve de voyager aux quatre coins du monde, which means I'm dreaming of traveling all around the world. Aux quatre coins du monde is an expression. Literally, it means to the four corners of the earth and can be translated as all around the world. The next event is funérailles. Funérailles. Funeral. You can say les funérailles sont un moment de deuil et de souvenir, which means a funeral is a time to grieve and remember. Actually, funérailles is a formal word, and usually French people use the noun enterrement, which literally means burial. How to ask for and give directions. Let's begin. The first pattern is où est le, la, les. Où est le, la, les. Where is the? Où means where. There is a grave accent on où to tell the difference between où, which means or, but the pronunciation remains the same. Here is a simple sentence. Où est la banque, which means where is the bank. The next pattern is je dois aller au. Je dois aller au. This means I need to go to the. Je dois means I have to or I need to and comes from devoir, which is an irregular verb. For example, you can say je dois aller au commissariat, which means I need to go to the police station. Comment puis-je aller au? Comment puis-je aller au? This means how do I get to the? Comment means how. Puis-je means can I. Aller means to go. And au is the preposition you need to use before masculine nouns. For example, you can say comment puis-je aller au musée? Which means how do I get to the museum? Est-ce qu'il y a un, une près d'ici? Est-ce qu'il y a un, une près d'ici? This means is there a near here? For example, est-ce qu'il y a une bibliothèque près d'ici? Means is there a library near here? Don't get confused with librairie and bibliothèque. Librairie means bookshop. Library in French is bibliothèque. The next pattern is excusez-moi, savez-vous où est le, la? Excusez-moi, savez-vous où est le, la? This means, excuse me, do you know where the is? When you don't know the person you are speaking to, use vous instead of tu. Both mean you, but tu is informal and vous is formal. For example, you can say, excusez-moi, savez-vous où est le parc? Which means, excuse me, do you know where is the park? Est-ce que le, la, est loin d'ici? Est-ce que le, la, est loin d'ici? This means is the, far from here. Est-ce que literally means is it that. A convenience of everyday French is that a phrase can easily be turned from a statement into a question. For example, you can say est-ce que la poste est loin d'ici? Which means is the post office far from here? Tournez à gauche. Tournez à gauche. This means turn left. This is the basic indication to go left. The first word tourner means turn. It is followed by à, which means to. Lastly, we have gauche, which means left. For example, you can say tournez à gauche au deuxième pâté de maison, which means turn left at the second block. Tournez à droite. Tournez à droite. This means turn right. This is similar to turn left, you just have to substitute gauche with droite, which means right. For example, you can say tournez à droite au troisième feu de circulation, which means turn right at the third traffic light. Allez tout droit. Allez tout droit. This means go straight. This is the basic indication to go straight. The first word aller means go and is in the imperative form. The next two words tout droit mean straight. For example, you can say allez tout droit, puis tournez à gauche au prochain feu, which means go straight and turn left at the next light. Passez devant. Passez devant. This means go past. Passer means to pass, and passer devant means to go past. Devant is a preposition meaning in front of. For example, you can say passer devant l'église, which means go past the church. À l'angle de. À l'angle de. This means at the corner of. This sentence may help you to indicate a particular place. For example, you can say c'est à l'angle de l'avenue, meaning it's at the corner of this avenue. An avenue is a big, wide street in an urban area. En face de. En face de. This means in front of. For example, la station de bus est en face du supermarché. This means the bus station is in front of the supermarket. Traveling in France by bus is easy and cheap. Every city has its own public transit system. Of course, it's easier if you speak a little French. Derrière. Derrière. This means behind. For example, le parking se trouve derrière la salle de cinéma. This means the parking lot is behind the movie theater. Se trouver is a transitive verb that means to be located somewhere or can be found. It can be about an object or a person. À côté de. À côté de. This means next to. À côté de means next to or nearby and is a very common word in French. It is used to indicate the relative physical positions of one thing to another. For example, you can say le restaurant est à côté du parc, which means the restaurant is next to the park. Entre. Entre. This means between. For example, you can say le magasin est entre le café et l'animalerie, which means the store is between the coffee shop and the pet store. In French, café refers to both the drink and the place where you can drink it. Animalerie is a pet shop. 10 phrases to help you in an emergency. Let's begin. Appelez la police, s'il vous plaît. Call the police, please. Use this phrase when you need someone to call the police. In France, you call 17. They should be called if there is a need of police intervention. For example, an accident on the public highway, public disorder, aggression, a robbery, a burglary, etc. Avez-vous de la fièvre? Do you have a fever? Use this phrase when you want to check someone's temperature. Generally, when saying this sentence, you place your hand on the person's forehead to feel if it's warm. Oh! J'ai perdu mon passeport. I lost my passport. Use this phrase when, unfortunately for yourself, you lose your passport. In this situation, find and contact the nearest embassy or consulate from your country. Ouf. Je pense que j'ai mangé quelque chose de mauvais. I think I ate something bad. Use this phrase when you are not feeling very well due to intestinal discomfort and you want something to help the pain. J'ai besoin d'un médecin. I need a doctor. Use this phrase when you are not feeling very well. If you are sick, you must see a doctor. Je ne retrouve pas le chemin jusqu'à mon hôtel. I can't find the way back to my hotel. Use this phrase when you are lost and can't go back to your hotel. In this situation, you can try to find a reputable store. Explain your situation to one of the employees and they will maybe help you. An offline map app is also useful. Y a-t-il une pharmacie dans le coin? Is there a pharmacy nearby? Use this phrase when you need to find a pharmacy without going too far. Do not hesitate to ask a shopkeeper around you. They might know better than the average person on the street. Pourriez-vous m'aider? Can you help me? Use this phrase when you need assistance and you want to ask someone. You can add excusez-moi, excuse me, at the beginning of the sentence to be more polite. Je suis perdu. I am lost. Use this phrase when you are lost. As I already said, do not hesitate to ask to someone like a storekeeper or a police officer to help you. J'ai besoin d'une ambulance. I need an ambulance. Use this phrase when you need an ambulance to come. Usually you can call 112, the European emergency number, even if you don't speak French.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
5 sentence patterns for beginners. Let's start. Je m'appelle. My name is. You can use this when you introduce yourself to others. Using this pattern, you can say Je m'appelle Claude, which means my name is Claude. Je suis de. I am from. Use this when people ask you where you're from or when you want to include it as a part of your self-introduction. Où est? Where is? Here we have où est, which means where is. For example, you can use it to say où est la gare, which means where is the station. It's very useful when you are lost in France. J'aime. I like. When you want to express that you like something, you can use this pattern. J'aime. In French, to like and to love are both translated with the verb aimer. If you want to sound less passionate, you can add the adjective bien. For example, j'aime bien le chocolat. If chocolate is really your thing, you can say j'adore le chocolat. Adorer is a verb we can translate as to love or to adore. In a sentence, you can say j'aime le chocolat to mean I like chocolate. Je n'aime pas. I don't like. You can use this pattern when you want to express that you don't like something. For example, you can say je n'aime pas les choux de Bruxelles, which means I don't like Brussels sprouts. Top 10 language learning strategies. So let's begin. Liez-vous d'amitié ou mettez-vous en couple avec une personne française. Befriending or dating someone who speaks French. So I think that's a really great strategy to learn the language if you speak every day with a person that is your friend or your boyfriend. Regardez des films ou écoutez de la musique en français. Watching movies or listening to music in French. So I think it can help you to learn the language more easily if every day you watch some movies, even with subtitles. Like this, it helps you to see what is written and everything. Lisez des journaux français ou magazines français. Read French newspapers or French magazines. So that will help you very much with the language because you will see words that you've never seen before and eventually you can look them up in the dictionary and like this you can know what it means. Enregistrez votre voix et comparez votre prononciation avec des Français natifs. Record your voice and compare your pronunciation with native French speakers. So I think that really helps with the accent. Like this, you can hear how you sound. You can watch my videos again and like this you can compare how I speak with how you speak and you'll see if it matches or not. Téléchargez des pistes de dialogue et écoutez les conversations françaises. Download dialogue tracks and listen to French conversations. So that will really help you with the accents, you know, the way everybody talks. You will be able to learn new words and you will be able to, for example, if they ask a question, you're able to answer. Répétez les expressions que vous entendez à voix haute, encore et encore. Repeat the phrases that you hear out loud again and again. So I think that's a really good strategy in order to learn French, to repeat over and over again what you just listened to or what you just learned, because it will help you to have that in your mind and you'll be able to say it more easily. Revoyez toutes les leçons sur FrenchPod101.com pour les maîtriser complètement. Review all the lessons on FrenchPod101.com to master them completely. That will really help you to speak better French if you go back and review all the videos that I have done or other French native have done. And yeah, like this you will be able to master it really completely and you'll be able to use it in quite a few different situations. Lisez les phrases lentement au début, après relisez-les et augmentez votre vitesse. Read sentences slowly at first, then reread them and increase your speed. I think that's a really thing to do because at first you want to have the pronunciation right. So it's better, to decompose the word little by little, and then when you're going to be more comfortable, you'll be able to say it like really quickly. Donnez-vous des petits et mesurables objectifs pour apprendre avec des dates limites propres. Set small and measurable learning goals with your personal deadlines. So I think that's really good if you give yourself some deadline and do not try to learn too much at first because you might just quit if you do that. So that's better if you give yourself, little by little to learn and give yourself deadline as well. That's a really, really good thing to see if you improve or not. Essayez des leçons qui sont plus difficiles pour vous surpasser et vous améliorer rapidement. Try harder lessons to challenge yourself and improve faster. So at first you're going to learn those quick and simple words, but then you want to challenge yourself and learn more complex sentences, for example. So that's better if you try to learn harder lessons.
Computer words. I don't know anything about computer, come on. So, computer words, let's go. Clavier, keyboard. Taper un texte avec le clavier. Type text on keyboard. It's the same word as piano and everything that has touche. Those little squares. Buttons, yeah. What am I saying? Souris, mouse. Same as English, the mouse is also the little animal. So, souris. Cliquez avec la souris. Click with the mouse. Next one is casque audio. Casque audio is headphones, so listening music with my headphones. Écouter de la musique dans le casque audio. You can also just say casque, you don't have to add the audio at the end. Monitor, monitor. Oh. Regarder un film sur le moniteur. Watching a movie on the monitor. Like because I like movies. Imprimante. Imprimante is a printer, so imprimer avec l'imprimante, print with a printer. So that works. Jobs. Hey, that's a nice one. So jobs. First job is infirmière. Nurse. Mon père est infirmier. My dad is a nurse. Which is true. Hi. Infirmière is for women and infirmier will be for men. Officier de police. Police officer. Or you can just say policier. Ce policier est trop méchant. This police officer is so mean. C'est un gentil officier de police. It's a nice police officer. He showed me the way and stuff. Employé de bureau. Office worker. It looks boring being an office worker. Je suis employé de bureau. I'm an office worker. Simple. Next one. Ingénieur. Engineer. Wouldn't it be nice to marry an engineer? Ce serait plutôt sympa de se marier avec un ingénieur, non? Yeah, I said something nice. Great. Programmeur, which is programmer. I thought we did computer word already. Le programmeur programme un programme. The programmer is programming a program. 3 times the same word, you can use it easily. Et le programmeur fait un jeu. the programmer is making a game, which will be super nice. So, hi and welcome back to Weekly French Word. This week's theme is the weather. This should be nice. First word is chaud. Chaud is warm. Aujourd'hui, il fait chaud. Today is warm, which is true. Next one is clair, clear. Clair is also used for light, like clair is a lot of light. But also the weather is good and no cloud and stuff like this. Le temps est clair, the weather is clear. Next one, ensoleillé, sunny. If you study well the last week words, la ville de Nice est ensoleillée. Nice is sunny. Do you remember it? It also works. So, Nice est une ville ensoleillée. Nice is a sunny city. Next one. Next one is humid, humid. It's humid in my room. Dans ma chambre, il fait humide. Which happens a lot in France. Next one is nuageux, cloudy. The weather outside is cloudy. That's not it. In north of France, the weather outside is cloudy. Dans le nord de la France, le temps est souvent nuageux. It's often cloudy. So yeah, the end. So see you next week for the French word of the week. And don't forget to check the website to get more words and more explanation. And don't forget to come back next week. See you!
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, while I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, what are some popular French idioms? In English, we have our fair share of idioms like, it's raining cats and dogs, or even, what's up? They might not make much sense literally, but they are commonly used in everyday conversation. French, of course, has them too, and here are some examples. Faire la tête means to sulk, but its literal translation is actually to do the head. It's used when someone isn't happy about something and in a bad mood. For example, elle a fait la tête toute la journée. She sulked all day. We also have coup de foudre, which literally means a strike of lightning. But as an idiom, it means love at first sight. Pretty fitting, actually. Ça marche is one you'll come across every day. Marcher means to walk, but ça marche means that works. English speakers might recognize this following one. Il fait un temps de chien, literally, it's a dog weather. It means, as you might have guessed, it's terrible weather. Here's a funny one. Arriver comme un cheveu sur la soupe. It literally means to arrive like a hair in the soup. This is about entering a situation at the worst possible moment. It can also mean arriving suddenly, by chance. Another idiom that uses food is mettre son grain de sel, literally, to put one's grain of salt. It's an idiom that means to give an unnecessary opinion. Donner sa langue au chat literally means to give one's tongue to the cat, but it actually means to give up. For example, if someone asks you to guess something and you have no idea what the answer is. Another one that doesn't make much sense, but you'll often hear is faire la grasse matinée, which literally means to do a fat morning. But people use it to say they slept in. Ça coûte les yeux de la tête, which means it's ridiculously expensive, but literally means it costs the eyes out of the head. There you go. Try them out. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. À bientôt. Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, how do you know when to use le passé composé or l'imparfait? There are two commonly used past tenses in French. Le passé composé, the past perfect, and l'imparfait, the imperfect. Le passé composé is made up of an auxiliary verb, either être, meaning to be, or avoir, to have, plus the main verb in the participe passé or past participle form. L'imparfait just use the main verb in the imperfect form. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use le passé composé and l'imparfait correctly. When telling a story in the past, le passé composé is used for the sequence of events. These are specific events that happened at a certain time, like j'ai mangé une pomme, meaning I ate an apple. L'imparfait is used for describing context or circumstances that happened within that time frame. For example, je mangeais une pomme. I was eating an apple. You'll often use l'imparfait and le passé composé together in the same sentence. L'imparfait illustrates the context, and le passé composé is the disruption of an action. For example, this sentence uses both. Je mangeais une pomme quand Loïc a appelé, meaning I was eating an apple when Loïc called. Je mangeais une pomme sets the scene. I was eating an apple. Quand means when, that's the interruption. The interruption is a time-specific event, so we use le passé composé. Loïc a appelé, meaning Loïc called. That's it for this lesson. I hope I helped clear things up. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I try to answer them. À bientôt!
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.